I'm Davy, and I'm awesome. And welcome to Davy's Awesome Stories, where I tell funny stories from my past or go on a rant in an effort to make you laugh. So, I've talked about it before that I work in customer service. I've been working in customer service for a long time. I've talked about some of the really stupid things that customers say. But what I'm going to be focusing on this week is more not really that they say things that are stupid, just things that we hate. I could do so many videos on this, so we're going to go ahead and say that this is probably going to be part 1, and I'll get to part 2 some other time. Heck, I'll probably get to like part 20 on this one. But just a few of the things they say that drives us nuts. Now these things may seem reasonable to you guys, but I'm going to explain why they're not. One, for an example, the one I used to hate hearing a lot when I'd be a cashier. And I've been a cashier at several different retail places. But at some point, the lines would get long, and I'd have to hear, "Can you open another register?" You want to know what's so annoying about that? Is the insinuation that we didn't think of that. Like, did you really think we saw the line getting long and just went, "Oh, okay, just wait for them to complain, then we'll call somebody"? No. You know why we haven't called anybody? Because we don't have anybody to call. Especially nowadays. I'm so happy I'm not a cashier at the moment, but right now, everywhere you go is understaffed. Everywhere you go is understaffed. Doesn't matter if it's where I work, or where you work, or where they work. They're all understaffed. And yet when I go shopping, which I don't shop where I work, I still hear it. I'll be in line and hear somebody yelling, "Can you open another register?" What, do you think that person's there by themselves because they call dibs? Do you think they just don't know that the line is long? They don't have anyone else. And what's even dumber is when you tell people this, when you basically go, "You know what, just will you shut up and just wait, be a little bit patient?" They start getting defensive like, "They have more people, they just don't want to use them." No, that is not necessarily true. This is probably all they got. "Look, there's more people over there." Those people are stocking the shelves. "And hey, there's people there too." Those people are scrubbing the floors. "Everyone who works here should know how to use a register." That's not how it works. It's really not. And what shocks me is how people just don't get that, despite where they work. Like, I've had people tell me like, "I know how it works. I've worked in a restaurant." Or even, "I know how it works. I've worked at a bank." Thinking that because they're customer service related that it's the same thing as working in retail. It's not. There's similarities, but it's not. But something I've pointed out. Oh, okay, so you work at a restaurant. So let me ask you something. When orders are getting backed up, do the bussers go back there and start cooking? When people are waiting to be seated, do the servers go over and start seating people? No, they don't. Everybody has their job. You work at a bank. Okay, so does the person over there that approves the loans come over and take my deposits from my personal bank account? No, they don't. That person has their job, that person has their job. In the same way, people here have their own jobs. And there's a reason for that. Because as much as you need to get checked out, you're not going to be able to buy anything if the shelves don't get stocked. And you're not going to want to be around here if the floors are sticky and gross. Then I love this juicy little lie gem. "Whenever I worked at a retail store, everybody there was register trained." No, they weren't. I hate hearing that because I know you're full of crap. I've heard it many times from many people. I'm calling all of you out. You're all liars. That is not true even a little bit. And I know this because I've worked several retail places. I've worked at a couple of gas stations and I've worked at several stores, like grocery stores, retail stores. That is not how it works. Unless you work in a very small one, like when I worked at a pharmacy, okay, fine, everybody there was register trained, but then again, the staff was never bigger than 5 people. But when you work in a big store, like a big grocery store, that is not how it works. There are people whose job is to cashier. There are people whose job is to stock in certain areas, like produce. There are people whose job is to clean the floors. And the reason they don't cross-train everybody is because they need other things done. It's like I've said before, the customer is the #1 priority, but that doesn't mean you're the only priority. There are others. And heck, sometimes it gets really stupid. Like when I worked at that pharmacy and the gas stations, there weren't that many registers. Like the gas stations I worked at, both of them had only 2 registers at the counters. That's it. Only 2. The pharmacy had 4. That was it. And we'd get really busy at the gas station, both registers would be full, or get really busy at the pharmacy and all 4 registers would be occupied, and yet still somebody would ask, "Can you open another register?" Where? You think we have a room with secret registers you don't know about? Another one we'd hate hearing, and this is kind of a universal one. When working at a big retail store, one that doesn't just sell groceries, sells a lot of other things too. When you'd be walking by a certain department, and somebody would ask, excuse me, can I get some help over here? Instantly, when we hear that, we start sweating on the inside, because we kind of know how this is going to go. Because if we dare to tell them, sorry, this is not my department, I don't know anything about it, but give me a second, I'll get you somebody. It can go one of two ways. Sometimes they understand that, they go, okay, they give you a minute to go find someone. But very often they come back with, if you don't work in this department, what are you doing here? I'm just walking by. Well, why? If you don't work in this department, then you shouldn't be over here. Well, I'm sorry, but I need to get through here, and they haven't perfected teleporting yet. The other thing, they get so angry at us for having the nerve to be around there when we don't work in that area. Well, I hate to break it to you, but sometimes to get to my department, I have to walk through other departments. I will say this, what I love about this customer, though, is getting revenge is very easy, because all I have to do is continue about my business and not look for somebody to help them. But even more annoying nowadays is back in the day, yes, the person who worked in electronics or hardware or paint or whatever area it was, usually they wanted them to know something about that stuff. So if they didn't, they'd train them. Nowadays, with how understaffed everyone is, they don't have time for that. They don't have time to make sure you're an expert on this stuff, which really sucks for someone like me. Because I know everybody thinks I'm a nerd, so I must know about electronics, but I don't. I don't know what any of that crap is. I don't know how any of it works. You ask me, like, the schematics on the TV and the transitions and the pixels and stuff, all I'm going to be able to tell you is, that button turns it on. I've talked about it before. I have a mechanical bypass in my head. So if I'm in the hardware section working, I really don't know anything about that stuff. If you're asking me the best way to put paneling in your house or something, I'm going to look at you and go like, the hammer goes bang, bang. Because I don't know about stuff like that. But yes, there have been many times that I've been told, hey, you got to go stock over there tonight. Why? Because the person who does know about that stuff is not here tonight. Which meant that all night long I was going to get people angry at me because, God forbid, my job was simply to put stuff on the shelf and I don't know anything beyond that. You shouldn't be stocking over here if you don't know about this stuff. Yeah, I'm the wrong person to be complaining to about that. I didn't decide to be here. Why don't you go talk to the one person who can do something about that? His name's Boss. And the last thing I'm going to talk about kind of goes along with the last thing I just mentioned. They will come up to you and they will ask you about the most random product. Just anything random. Could be something pharmaceutical or mechanical, electronic, or even a grocery. They just come up and go, hey, can you answer a ridiculously asinine and random question about this product over here? And I mean random. I don't mean a question of like somebody who actually knew about this stuff might know. I mean something so random. Something like the Kevin McAllister question in Home Alone, where he asked if that toothbrush was made by the American Dental Association. We hate those kinds of questions because not only do we not know, but we don't even know who to ask that might know. Because I seriously doubt the person over there stocking the toothbrushes would know something like that. But when you do that, when you tell them like, I don't know, and you try to leave it at that because you don't know who you would ask about that, they get mad. Well, could you find out? And the best thing you can do is call your supervisor and hope that they could give them some kind of an answer. As somebody who has in the past been that supervisor, who again, no clue, wouldn't even know what to ask, and it's a ridiculous question. I mean, for crying out loud, you got a phone, Google it. But the poor supervisor has to hear, because I don't make the toothbrush, sir. I really don't know. Well, how do you not know? The manager who actually manages that area where we sell toothbrushes, I guarantee you they don't know that. And yes, more than once I've had people say, if you're a manager, then you should know about literally every product in this store. And one time I couldn't help myself. I said to the person, do you have any idea how ridiculous that statement is? Do you see this store? Do you see the size of it? There are literally millions of products in this store. And I'm not exaggerating. Literally millions of different products in this store. There is nobody that could possibly learn about literally everything in this store. There's just too much. We are still people. We're not computers. This is not the day of a little general store that sold a toothbrush. This is the day and time where we sell toothbrushes, as in plural, and as in lots of plural. Grow up! Now some of you may be going like, did you ever actually tell a customer to grow up? Many times. And there you have it. That's just a few of the annoying customer playlist. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to hit like and subscribe. Hit that little bell so you get notifications for when I post new videos, and leave a comment. Tell me a few of the annoying customer playlists you love. Love you guys.